Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to another Shop My Stash video where we talk about everything that I've been using the last 2 weeks, and then we shop my stash to focus on some new products for the next 2 weeks. I think today I'm going to do the theme of oldest product in my collection, and I'm going to grab like the 2 or 3 oldest products from each category. So I'm really excited to do this to kind of shake it up a little bit. But as you can tell, we are currently inside my makeup drawer, and we're going to quickly go through all of the products that I was using the last rotation, and I'll give you my thoughts on each of the items. So starting with primer. These were the 2 primers that I had pulled for this rotation. I had the Origins Original Skin Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer. I had recently picked this up during the Ulta sale. I had the 20% off coupon. I have got some good use out of it, but I would like to continue using it just a little bit more. And then I also had my First Aid Beauty Pores Be Gone Primer, but I recently pulled in my Touch in Soul Smoothing Primer into a project pan. So I'm going to keep this in rotation, but put this back for a little bit so that I can focus on that other primer that's currently going in a project. For foundation, these were the 3 foundations that I had pulled. I have the CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir, which I've gotten some really good use out of, so I'm going to put this back. I also had the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Fit Me foundation. I am going to actually declutter this. I hated the way that this looked on my skin, and I'm fearful that this has gone bad, so I am just going to declutter this. And then I had also pulled my Wander Beauty Nude Illusion foundation, which I actually semi-enjoyed. It's still a little bit more matte than I typically prefer, but I didn't hate using it, but I am ready to put this back for a little bit. Okay, and then I also pulled my Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer in like halfway through, just because I was going for some lighter coverage looks the last week in work, and I think I'm going to be going through, and I think I'm going to be doing the same these next couple of weeks just because it's going to be so chaotic and busy. So I am going to keep this Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer in rotation. This next section right here is stuff that I just always have pulled. It's some cream products, a cream bronzer, a cream highlight, my Fenty Match Stick for contouring, my ColourPop Lippy Balm for nourishing my lips, my Debronzy Anti-Pollution Serum, my Kush Microfiber Gel, and then I just have some lip products in here as well. I'm just going to keep everything in here for right now. I did get quite a bit of use out of this. No, this isn't the one. I got quite a bit of use out of the shade Sin. So maybe I'm going to put this more like up on my vanity and try and use this one a little bit more. But everything in this box is going to stay. Right here we have all of my mascaras. I currently don't have any mascaras that I need to roll out. I've been using the same as I have the last few rotations, so everything in here is going to remain the same. Here I have a couple of powders I have been focused on. This is the Essence All About Matte Fixing Compact Powder. I'm just going to keep this in rotation until I finish this. And then I've also been trying to get some more use out of my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, and I think I'm going to keep this in for another rotation. Next up we have this Hourglass Quad, which I picked up during the Sephora VIB sale. This is the Ghost Quad palette. This is beautiful, you guys. I cannot stop reaching for it. It just is so gorgeous. I love all of the blushes in here. This Brilliant Nude shade is more of a shade that I will go over like either this shade or this shade if I feel like I went too heavy-handed. I have been loving this shade right here as well as this one. These two are a little bit more shimmery, but I still really enjoy this. And this actually brings me to today's giveaway. Today is day 2 of my 10 days of giveaways. And for today's giveaway, I'm going to be giving away this same palette, the Ghost Blush Quad, to 1 lucky winner. All you have to do to be entered is to leave a comment with the smiley face with the 2 hearts for eyes. I will leave it on the screen so that you know which emoji you want to leave in the comments if you want to be entered into this giveaway, and then you just have to leave a way for me to get a hold of you in case you are the winner. The giveaway will run for 1 week. I will select a winner after 1 week, and then I will post the winner in my community tab on YouTube as well as in the description box of this video, and all prizes for for my 10 days of giveaways will be shipped out on December 11th. So if you are interested, again, just leave a comment with that heart face emoji down below. And if you missed my kickoff video, I will leave that link down below for you as well that has more information about the 10 days of giveaways. But I'm very excited for someone to get their hands on this palette because I have been loving this so much. And with that in mind, I am going to keep this in for one more rotation just because I have truly been loving it. Okay, up here I had pulled in my Hourglass Veil powder. I think I'm going to keep this in. This is the best powder for me to use to set my face right now just because it isn't as drying as other powders, and I am really feeling dry now that we have really started to reach like close to December here. So I am going to be keeping the Hourglass Veil translucent powder in rotation. Up here we have two liquid shadows. This one is one of the Shimmer and Glows by Stila in the shade Kitten. Of course, my camera doesn't want to focus. I am going to put this away. I did use this 2 times, but I'm ready to put this back. And then this one from Ciate London. This is their Eye Luster Cream Shadow in the shade. There we go, finally focused. I'm not sure of the shade of this, but I am going to declutter this. I just didn't like the way that this one specifically looked on my eyes, and this is the first time I've reached for it, and I had to pull it into a Shop My Stash to reach for it. So that tells me that I just do not love it. So I am going to declutter this to either my sister or my daughter to play with because I'm just not a fan of this one. Okay, I have a MAC pigment right here that I didn't get to use, so I'm going to keep that in rotation. I also have a couple Kat Von D mini lips that I was going to try and use that I did not get around to, so I will keep those in rotation. I have a couple of Super Shock shadows from ColourPop right here. These were in collaboration with Halo Top. I got some good use out of this one and did not use this one at all, so I will put this one away, but I will keep this one. This is in the shade Tassel, and it's just like a white base with like a silver glitter, so hoping to get some use out of this. And then I also did not get any use out of this one from Ace Beauté. If I can get it to focus, this is more of like a gold shadow, so I will keep this in and try and get some use out of that. And then this Urban Decay single in the shade Midnight Cowboy, I just recently pulled into a project, so it actually should be in a different drawer anyway, but I'm obviously going to be trying to work on this. Here we've got my beauty blenders, which are really dirty, and then we have the concealers that I was working on. My Elsie concealer has been going for a couple of rotations now, so I really should put this back. I really do enjoy that concealer. This was one I was testing out from Ulta Beauty. It was their Youthful Glow concealer. Not a fan. Really not impressed by this. I feel like it sort of brightens underneath the eyes, but does do nothing for coverage, so considering decluttering this, but gonna put this back for sure. And then this one from Giveawyas Place, this is the, I believe, the Magic Concealer. I have mine in the shade 19, which I thought was gonna be too dark for me, but it actually works really well for me, and I have been really impressed by this concealer. I used it quite a bit, but I really wanna keep using it, so I am going to keep this in rotation for one more round. Way back in the back there are a bunch of lip products that I had pulled last rotation that I want to continue to try and use, did not get use out of. The ones I did get use out of are these ones right here. I used the Superstay 24 color lip thing from Maybelline. This was in the shade Absolute Taupe. I actually really do like the shade of this, but this is a very drying product, so it's not my favorite product. And then I used Fussy from Fenty, the gloss bomb, in both the big size and the little size. And then I tried this one from the gloss like bomb set that she just released. This is in the shade Hot Chocolate, and I really enjoyed this. It looks really dark in the tube, but it's pretty sheer on the lips with just like a tint of that darkness, and I really enjoyed that. And then I also used Bow and Arrow from Kat Von D, which I don't know if I like this shade anymore, but these were the lip products I was able to get some use out of this last rotation. Okay, back here are a couple of products that I'm going to be decluttering. First, from Helios Beauty, I have this eyeshadow. This is kind of like a Super Shock shadow, but it's just such a dark color that I cannot get it to work for me in a way that I like. So I am just going to declutter this. And then I also have this bronzer from the Beauty Crop, which I got in an Ipsy bag. This is okay, but it's so hard to use because of the small pan size, and it's just not really that impressive. I'm already starting to get some hard pan on it, so I'm just going to be decluttering this guy. Here we have my Lancome highlighting palette that I recently picked up. This is their holiday palette with 3 separate highlights in it. I did get some really good use out of both the Gilded Gold shade as well as Frosted Rose, and I think I'm ready to put this back. Like I said, I got some really good use out of this. I am going to keep my Essence Brighten Up. I've been using this a few times the last couple of days, and I've been liking it so far, so I want to keep using it. The other 2 bronzers I had pulled were my Fenty bronzer. I have mine in the lightest shade, which is in Indecun. Really enjoy this bronzer, but got some really good use out of it, so ready to put this back. And then I had also pulled my L'Oreal Lumi Bronze It powder. I have mine in the shade 1. I like this bronzer, and I used it some. I'm ready to put it back. Not ready to declutter, but wasn't as impressed with this time around as I remember when I first got it. For highlights, I was really focused on that Lancome palette, but I did use this Laura Geller highlight, I believe 2 times. This is in Charming Pink. I really do enjoy this, but I am ready to put this back. And then I've had this going for a couple of rotations now. This is my Becca Prismatic Amethyst highlighter. I've really been enjoying this, but like I said, I have had this pulled in the last couple of rotations and gotten some good use out of it, so I will put this back for right now. And then I had also been working on this one from Kaja. This is their Mochi Glow highlighter in the shade Toy Alien. This is not my favorite by any means, but I have been using it to set my lit stick, my lit highlighter from Milk Makeup, and I've been liking it that way, but I am ready to put this away for a little bit. And then finally for blush, I had my Clinique Cheek Pop in Fig Pop pulled, and I did not reach for this at all, so I am going to keep this in rotation. I also had this Wet n Wild Ombre Blush in the Princess Daiquiris. I used this a couple of times. I really do like this, but I am going to put this back again just because I was able to get some use out of it. And then I used this one from ColourPop one time. This is in Fresh and Peachy, but like I said, I was just loving the Ghost Quad from Hourglass so much. Those are the blushes that I was typically reaching for. I am going to be putting back this ColourPop one because I did use it one time, but like I said, I will keep this Clinique Cheek Pop in until I'm able to get some use out of it. So that is it for everything that I was using last rotation. Now it is time to shop my stash for some of my oldest products. We aren't going to shop through lips today just because I have so many products back there that I want to focus on. And then I will pull my oldest palette that I believe I can find in my collection, but you guys know I am doing the Pan Those Eyeshadows project, so leave that link down below if you want more like eyeshadow content. But let's get to shopping my stash. Okay, so here's my foundation and primer collection, and like I said, I'm going to try and pull 2 from each category. So for primer, my oldest primer in my collection is currently going in a Shop My Stash, or a project pan, so I'm going to try and pull my second oldest, which I believe is this Flower Beauty In Your Prime Illuminating Primer. And because I do have 2 other primers currently going in projects, I'm going to count this good and just pull this one primer. For foundation, which ones are older to my collection? This and my Pro Glow. Wow. The 2 oldest are probably going to be my Dior Backstage, as well as my L'Oreal Pro Glow. I think that these are truly the 2 oldest foundations currently in my collection. So these will be the 2 foundations that I will be pulling. Okay, moving on to concealer and powder. For powder, the oldest powder I believe I have in my collection would be the RCMA No Color Powder. I do really like this powder. I had recently pulled this a couple months ago and really enjoyed it. So this shouldn't be hard for me to use. And then for concealer, I believe... dang it. It's got to be my Tarte Shape Tape. That's my oldest in my collection. And I'm just going to pull my Flower Beauty one with this just because my Tarte one can end up being a little bit too dark and then my Fenty one's too light. So these ones do make a good pair mixing. So I will pull these 2 for concealer. Next, moving on to bronzer. I believe The two oldest bronzers, in my collection would be my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, which I recently had pulled and I was loving this. And then also my Tarte Park Avenue Princess, which I have also recently been loving. So I'm excited about using both of these bronzers. Okay, then moving on to blush. This one's tough. I'm trying to figure out my oldest blushes. Ooh, I think... Gosh, what are my oldest blushes? Honestly, probably my Becca blushes. Becca Flower Child for sure, which is not necessarily a seasonally relevant blush. There we go. So there is Becca Flower Child. And then what else is old in my collection? Probably... Honestly, it might be, I truly don't know for sure, but it might be this one from Ciate London, which again is more of like a summery shade. So I actually think I'll pull this next one because I know this one's pretty old in my collection too, and this is more like a seasonally relevant shade. This is in the shade Amber. So I will pull Flower Child in Amber for my blushes. Okay, so then moving on to highlight, I'll pull one highlight out of my like pinky highlight drawer and then one out of my gold drawer. And I believe my oldest pinky highlight is my Makeup Forever highlight, which I do really love. This is in the shade 1, and it's just this really beautiful really beautiful icy pink sort of shade. Here, I'll swatch it for you guys. It is truly stunning. I really do love this highlighter this time of year, so I'm very excited to pull this. Oh, and then this isn't hard. In this drawer, it is 100% my MAC Soft and Gentle. That is my oldest one in this drawer. This was going in my Graveyard Project pan, and I can see the dip of where I had focused my brush in this one, but this is like the highlight that will never end. But this is the one that I will pull for this drawer. Okay, so then moving into my single shadow drawer, this MAC Single Shadow in Satin Taupe is by far my oldest in my collection, and I'm just gonna pull one single shadow because I'm so bad at using them, but at least I'm pulling one and hope to get some use out of it. I'm not gonna pull anything from my mascara or liner drawer. For face palettes, I believe my Benefit Cheekathon palette is my oldest face palette in my collection, so I will pull this. I'm actually excited to pull this and get some use out of this, so we will pull that. And then I believe my ABH Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit, I believe, is my oldest ABH Glow Kit in my collection, so I am gonna pull this as well, and I'm really excited to pull this. I've seen a couple of channels just recently mention this palette, and I kind of miss this, so I'm really excited to hopefully get some use out of this the next few weeks. Okay, and then before we go back into my makeup drawer and what it's going to be looking like for the next 2 weeks, I forgot to mention I was working on this Becca face palette the last rotation, and I'm going to keep this in rotation again. This is an older one in my collection, and I just really do love this one for this time of year, so I will also keep my Becca face palette in. And then that is going to be it for this rotation. Not the most exciting. I'm also filming this really late at night, trying to get this filmed before tomorrow, so I'm sorry if this felt rushed. Again, I'm not going to shop my lip product collection just because I have like 10 back here that I really want to use. And then if you, my oldest palette, I am fairly confident my Tartelette in Bloom is my oldest palette in my collection. As you can tell, I've hit tons of pan on this, so I will pull this palette in and try and get some use out of this along with the other palettes currently going in my 19 Shadows in 2019 project or my Pan Those Eyeshadow series. Again, I'll leave that link down below in case you guys are interested, but this is going to be this rotation for the next 2 weeks for my Shop My Stash. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Again, don't forget to enter the giveaway for the Hourglass Ghost Quad Blush Palette if you are interested. Thank you so much for sticking around to watch this week's Shop My Stash video, and I will catch you guys in tomorrow's video.